Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over the Super Mario 64 A Button Challenge iceberg. Credits to Bismuth for this iceberg. I don't know any of these other than for the first one, so sorry about that. Layer 2, cloning. If for some reason doing getting an empty slot in Mario's hands will get the will get well, holding nothing in Mario's hands will cause the game to decide, I'm a spawn a clone. So it spawns a Goomba. Let's say the object that tried to clone in Mario's hands was a Goomba. There'd be the Goomba in Mario's hands, and then the normal Goomba. That's it for cloning, head in hand. For some reason, the for some reason the For some reason, if you get a hat when you already have the hat on for the hat of hand, you will cause Mario to hold his hat, and and, and this is going to be for the next thing. Hope. Hope, in a nutshell, is basically the position of where Mario is holding it. Head and hand can prevent the Hope from being updated. Remote release. So if you already use a Goomba that if the Goomba that isn't in Mario's hands after being cloned was a if the Goomba that after overflowing if a Goomba if the original Goomba that's after if the Goomba that's been cloned, I mean the original one, the one that's not in Mario's hands, is colliding with another Goomba, the game will calculate the distances between the clone Goomba and the other Goomba, and so it will place it somewhere in there. And then here's another thing. Shell hyperspeed. This is something that is just weird. This is something that's just weird. Essentially, how far Mario moves is defined by is defined is defined is defined by the steepest of a slope. If it is perfectly that, if Mario's speed is 30 units per frame, then he will move 30 units per frame in the direction he's heading. If it's sloped, his speed is separated into upwards and upwards or slash downwards, and then the speed that moves on not on the y-axis, despite it should meaning which means that even though you have a ton of speed, your real speed just says no. Your real speed, even though the real speed is just your real speed, even though your real speed is really high, this speed that Mario was moving is slow. And run backward slopes where you start decelerating. You can literally just fly. Panning Coke 2012. He's a popular, very popular YouTuber that is well known in the A Button Challenge. He used to do commentated videos, but now only uploads on uncommented Panon. Half A press. So, half A press is what is described for basically if you were to hold down the A button to and use the A button that you can be done while holding, you would be able to you'd be able you'd be able if you would it would basically leech off a previous A press. It doesn't actually add an A press in a full game run, but in an individual level it does. So it's called the half A press. Goomba Bridge. This is an extension of cloning, where this is a cloning. The cloning that you hold has a strange property. It can only be interacted with once, with one exception. Meaning a Goomba bridge is when you use Goombas that, after doing enough, placing enough Goombas will let you cross a large distance without jumping. Just so you know that the formula back then was this. But the formula back then was exponential for the length, meaning one for one. If the Goomba bridge was of length 1, it would mean 1. Goomba bridge of length 2 is 3. Goomba bridge of length 3 is 9, and so on. A Goomba bridge of 8 with this current strategy is 255, which is impossible because the game would crash. Water level manipulation. In Wet Dry World, the game has a strange property where the game's water level slightly deviates from its position. For the average position is 10 more than the average position is 10 more than the minimum, and less than 10 lower than the maximum, so it deviates by 20 units. Well, if you were to go it when it's not at the average, the water level medium average height will raise or lower depending on where it was. Using this, you could cause the level to be filled with water, and despite you could use this. You could do this enough times to make the level filled with water without having to get up to the top. And it's also to be noted that this is one of the few tricks that's actually very much possible. Like you've probably done it accidentally if you ever played the game. But 20 units is too small of a difference to be noted once. De facto speed. Remember how on a slope Mario's actual speed is split up into vertical to fit the steepness of the slope, and then horizontal speed? Well, the speed that Mario moves horizontally, both in the X and Z direction, is called de facto speed. So if Mario's real speed is 30, but Mario's de facto speed is 30, when going up a slope, the game will give you Mario. The game will move you 10 units up and 20 units horizontally. This also means that if a wall was there, This also means that at some point, and then frame walking. You know how some slopes are so steep that Mario decelerates to the point where he starts walking backwards? Well, frame walking is a trick, but if you were to pause every pause and then unpause every 2 frames, Mario doesn't decelerate. Even no matter how steep the slope is. Even, unless it's classified as a wall or a ceiling, you can walk up it. This also means that, but it is task only, given that you need to mash pause literally every frame. Unless Fury use a glitch to lag the game, impossible. Layer 3, enemy luring. You've this is most enemies head towards Mario. You definitely know that. Well, if you get Mario in such a way, you can get an enemy in a way that you get up to a place without pressing A. Dive grinding. You might have encountered the situation where where Mario's just where the cameras could give you a seizure because and the reason why is because the game is switching between air and grounded state every frame due to the difference in between from air movement and ground movement. If on the ground, Mario moves exactly the direction of the control stick, assuming he's in the walking or running state, with with how fast he's going determined by the steepness of the slope and how hard you're pushing on and how hard you're pushing on and how hard you're pushing on the control stick. Well, and in air, Mario's Mar- the physics work a bit different. Mario holds for the most part goes the way that the angle is facing, but you can accelerate or deaccelerate if not at the speed cap. If not, you can deaccelerate slowly, although it's less dependent on the control stick. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, you're right. Dive grinding. If Mario is facing towards the so basically back to where I was, the Mario's. So if Mario's facing off the ledge, but the control stick is on wants to go off, Mario will be in a state of on the ground, off the ground, on the ground, off the ground, on the ground, off the ground. And he'll do this a lot until, and it also causes camera seizure. You then build up a lot of speed due to the fact that how high Mario's jumps is determined by how fast you're going. By going at stupid speeds, you can, well, save an A press by only having to jump once. Enemy luring. It's basically just, oh wait, I already talked about that. Water level overflow. You probably know that the water level isn't fixed because of, well, water level manipulation. Well, what if you were to what happens if you raise it even more? The game Mario's the water's level is stored as a is in both places is stored as a uh, assigned short with a value between with a negative 32,000 and positive 32,000. Anyway, what happens if you to go above? Of course, you get an overflow. The game will send it to the lowest value, which causes the game to then lower it due to the 20 units of back and forth, which causes a confusion thing indeed. Transport cloning. Oh wait, I accidentally swapped transport cloning with Goomba Bridge. Goomba Bridge is when you use the difference between transport cloning and Goomba Bridge is that in order to use Goomba Bridge, you need to go down fast enough. While transport cloning uses a position glitch to send Goomba clones to a specific place. Goomba ladder. This is using transport cloning to make a ladder of Goombas. Kind of self-explanatory. Pause buffering. If you were to mash pause, you can, despite the fact that all physics is paused, the global timer's not paused, which allows you to not update the hull by hiding Mario. Hands-free holding. If you were to some objects like glitch out if you some pickable objects glitch out if you were to carry them and bonk into it and then grab it. The game decides, which it puts in Mario in essentially a state where he's holding something, but also not holding it. Anyway, which is Schrodinger's item, which that has nothing to do with it. I just thought that was funny. Anyway, the game doesn't want you to do that, but you can do it anyway by kicking or jumping. RNG manipulation. RNG in Super Mario 64 is a closed loop. So, there's one way for Mario to call RNG on the mango, kicking up dust. So essentially, he can't kick dust in order to get out unwanted RNG values. And then object slot manipulation. It's essentially so that you can get very confusing things. It's It's essentially so that Mario will be holding nothing, and then something will load, and then the desired thing will load into that. Pull this mount with knockback. Essentially putting a clone of anything that can deal damage so that you can get off the pool without having to press A. Clone collision overlap. The clones when other clones and other entities can collide with objects, fine. Can collide with clones, fine. But you could use a clone to prevent a clone to be used for later. It's so that you don't. It's basically so that you don't accidentally hit with the Goomba. But this would double the length of the bridge if you did it that way. Near bottom of the iceberg. Bottom of the near the layer 3. I count this as layer -1. Layer 0. Misalignment. The game for some reason handles floor detection and wall detection differently. This is why there's no walls, and never mind. This causes I'll get back to that later. This causes a 1x1 unit area where you can stand on something, where you can stand in a corner, but without being pushed out of the walls. It only happens with some blocks, though. Star dance clip. If you collecting a star puts you in a action state called star dance. So the only one you can do it with is the 100 coin star, because it's the only one that keeps you in the level. Essentially allows you to jump without pressing A. Tyler Kane. It's a person that helped revolutionize the challenge. Not much to say. Vertical speed conservation. If Mario isn't moving vertically, his speed doesn't update. But what happens if you to land on a platform with positive vertical speed? I know what you're thinking. Hold up, that's impossible. It is possible. See, take a look at. It is very much possible. Objects that are moving upwards, if you're positive vertical speeds, if you're going up slower than the things rising up to you, you can land on it. However, moving will cause the speed to be set to 0. But if you can, punching, which uses either A or B, causes you to move without the game resetting your vertical speed, which lets you to jump without jumping. Instant release. Instant release. It causes an instant release, I'm pretty sure. Fly guy manipulation. It's being very, very, very precise to the point It's using the AI to get Shy Guys into the spot they want. Which you ledge grab. Some corners I'm pretty sure due to a misalignment. Some you can some corners let you grab the ledge from way too high up. So because the game finds a ball 170 30 to 170 units above him, but can't find it, so it can't find the corner, but can't find the right spot. So it just brings it to the first one it finds that causes it. This causes the game to, well, put you in possibly high up. Hands-free teleport. If you were to use a hands-free glitch from level 2 and then teleport with it, you'll get an invisible bomb. It will also push you back if it was bloated. They made it hands-free. And also, once you enter its activation radius, it will hover invisibly in front of you for bombs. Object activation radius. This is essentially the part where some objects just don't. It's the reason if an object isn't close enough to Mario, anything will fall through the floor. Anything on top of it will fall through it, unless if Mario makes it interactable until close enough and ever and unless Mario gets close enough to make the thing snap back up. Spawning displacement. Wait, the Chucky drop. Essentially, by being very precise, you can use a Chuckia to throw you over a part, which saves an A press. Spawning displacement. On the Japanese version of the game, if you were to rotate on an object and then exit the level, if the object didn't get replaced, you'd spawn off. This only works on the Japanese version and doesn't save an A press. Negative vertical speed conservation. Essentially, it's the same concept as vertical speed conservation, but down. If you were to move without incrementing the control stick after landing, Mario will start accelerating, will move, and then fall off. Mario will go down at the speed that he landed on the ground with. Light grab. Schrodinger's quartz box. Essentially, by using a hole with a glitch to prevent it from updating, you can make a box. You can make a box disappear, speed run towards Mario's hands, throw it again, and throw it again, so it disappears, and then speed runs back to Mario's hands, just so you can put a coin in the right spot to use Star Dance Clip. Like grabbing Chuckia. If you were to grab Chuckia on water, the game doesn't expect you to do this, so it causes Mario to be put in a well. It causes the game to think that Mario is holding a light object, such as a box. All light objects really don't. The weight doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter what the game thinks it is, as long as it's a light object. It causes you to be able to save an A press. That's going to be it for the first part of the for the first part of the 8 button challenge iceberg. If you want more, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.